most probably around 100% of APKs should be running in the ARM version of SteamOS. If it was Microsoft or Google, they would have actually shut down that project already, right? Google actually shut down Stadia before it would have actually achieved success, and Microsoft is shutting down their gaming studios. Because of steamframe, developers are actually uploading APKs directly in Steam. We are actually seeing that happen in real time. This is such an exciting time period, dude. You know, I have compared steamframe with other VR headsets, and from what I have gathered is steamframe is using an actual mobile APU Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that actually exists in current smartphones. So if the FX emulator is working as intended, then most probably around 100% of APKs should be running in the ARM version of SteamOS. That is genuinely kind of insane, and that is seriously helping them, right? Like the developers they don't have to do anything because the processor they are using is not a VR or an XR specific processor, because they are using a mobile processor. I think this is genuinely such a advantage for steamframe. I think Valve is such a genius because they are not spending any time on research in developing APKs or Linux packages, but what they are doing is they are taking an already existing software and they are adapting on it. Before, Valve even came to Linux, gaming on Linux was not that good, but them creating Proton and GameScope, it really helped. The entire support in Linux actually grew so much. And it's so cool, dude, because Proton is open source, GameScope is open source, FX, the new x86 to ARM emulator, that is also open source. So this shows the strength of open source, that you can take an already existing piece of software like Linux and you can still work on it and you can increase your progress by tenfold to whatever specific thing you want to do. Valve wanted a gaming specific distribution or operating system, and they were able to achieve it, even though Linux is like a general purpose operating system, right? So you can do anything with open source software, and that is so cool. And it also shows how to ethically support open source. Like if you have a proprietary solution for your company and you cannot open source that software, then it is still okay, dude. Like you can still support open source publicly and be okay with it. Unlike, Microsoft or Apple, Valve supporting open source has genuinely been a very good thing. The advantage of this is, Valve is promoting their entire pieces of hardware, but what is actually happening is Linux is getting promoted as well. So it's like, they are taking something from the open source, but at the same time, they are giving something. And this is such an ethical way of supporting open source. And I'm so happy. But at the same time, I do feel like I'm living in this weird timeline where we have these trillion-dollar companies that are squeezing money for every single thing from their customers. But at the same time, we have a company that is doing something so unique that is actually benefiting others. I'm actually very proud, not proud, I didn't think that's actually a correct word, but I think it is so great to see that, Gabe Newell trust his developers that much that, he lets them test and fail, actually try a second round basically. Like Steam Machine was a colossal failure, right? Gabe Newell was, in the stage and trying to promote it, but it was such a big failure after that. Most probably, they could have just shut down that project, but they actually still persisted. And do you know what would have happened if it was Microsoft or Google? They would have actually shut down that project already, right? Google actually shut down Stadia before it would have actually achieved success, and Microsoft is shutting down their gaming studios if one of their games actually failed. I still am not going to forget about Tango Gameworks, what they did with Hi-Fi Rush. It was so fucking stupid. But yeah, I'm really glad it is not other companies that are actually doing this. So yeah, I'm very happy that Valve, they persisted, and now this entire experiment basically is now paying them huge dividends. The implications of FX is genuinely kind of insane for Steam alone, because now if the Epic Game Store, the lawsuit with Google to allow third-party softwares to exist, if that actually does get resolved, I think Steam is going to be the biggest one that actually benefits from this. So yeah, FX is going to be a huge anchor for Steam to actually bridge the gap between PC and Android. That is kind of insane, but I don't think we are not there yet. I think that seamless experience of downloading, a game in Android and then just closing that and going to PC and playing it. I think, the seamless cloud saves does exist, but what I'm saying is just one APK to exist, right? Like that's, I don't think we are not there yet, but I think we can definitely get there. But yeah, dude, like I'm so stoked to see where Steam goes right now. And do we see, I think definitely there is a possibility we will see a Steam Android store, but I'm actually very excited to see when that happens. But either way, if you have anything that you want to talk about, or if I'm forgetting anything, then please tell me about it. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please consider liking and subscribing. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care of your health, sleep well, and bye bye.